We have been deep in these documents. Each of these are a piece of evidence that helps us put together a very important question. Who get rich in the wars?
You might never hear about these two names before the war, Stinger missile and Javelin anti-tank missiles. One Stinger missile costs around $120,000 and the Javelin costs around $180,000, including the launch system and missile. And Ukraine says it needs 500 Javelins and 500 Stingers per day. The makers of these missiles are US weapon manufacturers Raytheon and Lockheed Martin.
You might remember when the conflict began, the global stock market plummeted, but not for all. Lockheed Martin stock went up 20% and the Raytheon went up by 11%.
But this is just one example of how these American companies has profited from war. After digging through the numbers, reports, all of it, we have established a list of some of the top people who got crazy rich off of the wars.
We must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
This is a warning US President Eisenhower sent 61 years ago. The close relationship among defense contractors, the Pentagon, and politicians has become a US monster that seeks perpetual war over peaceful coexistence. These wars are big business. Let's take a look at some of the salaries of the Lockheed Martin CEOs. Here is Robert Stevens. He was CEO of Lockheed Martin from 2004 to 2013. When he first took charge of the company, he was making around 5 to 7 million a year. But in 2006, 3 years into the Iraq War and 5 years into the Afghanistan War, he brought in 18 million. When he left his post in 2013, he was given 28 million golden handshake. Yes, it's 28 million.
As the wars intensify, the wallets of those in charge of MIC companies explode. Stevens' successors were paid up to 34 million a year.
And wars are pretty good for them.
Around 90% of Lockheed Martin's revenue comes from its role as government contractor.